I think the economy is overall pretty good still, but if we end up in World War III...
We need to start finding properties where we can create bunkers.
And you guys did a lot of transactions last year, right?
We did 178 2025 on market, but with off market, which is an awesome thing for our personal clients.
You said something at the beginning, I wanted to touch on it because I just think it's funny. It's like we start thinking so small, right?
Honestly, like right now, everyone's getting ready to list. I think I have 6 listings coming up in the next 4 weeks, all aiming for that April timeline, early May. And that's just me.
So what do you guys think is the biggest difference? Coral, you practice in both markets.
Oh, I just think...
Well, yeah. Welcome to the Real Vision Show, where the game of real estate is all that we know. Step inside the booth, conversations that inspire. We talk keys, deeds, and that property empire. From first-time buyers to investors with a plan. Real talk, real lessons from the real estate race. Delighting out.
What's up, everybody? We're here at the Real Vision Studios Podcast Center with Coral Lane to my left and Kris Tramont, founder of the X Team in Connecticut, to my left as well. Today, we're here to talk about a few different interesting topics, at least interesting to us or people who like the real estate industry. If you're not, then I don't know why you're watching the podcast. No, I'm just kidding. But we're going to talk about the Connecticut market. We're going to talk about real. We're going to talk about some of Coral's investment projects and the difference between practicing real estate in Connecticut and practicing in Rhode Island. And let's get right into it. So Kris, for anybody in the audience who doesn't know you, when did you start in real estate? How did you get started? How did you make your way to real?
Yes. So I started in 2017, got my license in July 2017. And I remember this because I waited to get my real estate license to buy my first property.
Okay.
So I did. So I bought a condo. My wife wanted a house, but bought a condo because it was like 65 grand, dude, at the time, 2017. I remember that check and it was like $3,000 for commission. That for me, my house, I thought was so cool. But I got my license in 2017. And so it's been 9 years in.
What market are you in?
In London County. So, we do all Connecticut.
Yep.
I have 2 agents that are showing agents. So actually, let me back up. I have a full-time assistant, and I have a part-time assistant / showing agent. And then I have a team of, we have 16 other agents. But those 2 are also agents. So we have 16 total in production. We have 4 agents that are in training.
And you guys did a lot of transactions last year, right?
We did 178 2025 on market. But with off market, which is an awesome thing for our personal clients, we did like 225, 226.
So you did like 25% of your transactions roughly, maybe even a little bit more than that, 30% roughly off market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
like
that
20% maybe?
Is that just marrying buyer and seller, or is that like a lot of investor stuff? Or
So we have a process where we actually on our Google, we have a Google sheet that is only for our agents to see. And it's all the listings that we have coming up or conversations that we've had of listings that will be coming up. And we only share them with our clients. Like That's our stuff. We leverage that during our buyer consultations. We also leverage it during open houses. So Tim Macy, this was his idea, so I'll give him the credit. We bring a binder to our open houses. I don't do open houses, by the way, my agents do. They bring the binder that simply says on the front, off-market listings.
All right.
And it's not just we'll put some of our actual off-market listings in there, but we also do expireds, like things like that. And these customers that come in will look at this and be like, what's that? And then it sparks a conversation.
Right.
And then, what's cool is last year I sold 6 off-market to my clients, right? What I got in terms of referrals from those specific clients, because I helped them find something off-market.
Right.
Was phenomenal. Like
it's incredible. And it's part to tell your story too and have them understand the client. I mean, the number one thing they want an agent to do, if buyer wants the buyer's agent to do, is find them a house, right?
Right.
And very infrequently is it the agent who actually finds them the house in the era of Zillow.
Right. They're sending you the listing.
They're sending you the listing. So I'm not saying that that's not the way it's supposed to be as well. I mean, we know as agents that it's supposed to be a collaborative process, and that good luck trying to find a house without an agent. I don't know if you saw this, but since the Sister Burnett lawsuit, the actual percentage of people who are using a buyer agent has gone up. So
really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that stat.
It actually went up. And in some areas, compensation is even
oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's definitely higher for me. Yeah.
So actually having a contract with the buyer agent, it's actually increased the professionalism and kind of the standards there. You said something at the beginning. I wanted to touch on it because I just think it's funny. It's like we start thinking so small, right? Like I want to buy a house and save $3,000 on commission on a condo. Yeah. And you wind up like, I mean, I remember I used to think about, I still can be a little petty, I guess, but I used to think about I used to think about like the smallest like little things that would be my benefit. Like when I got my license, I was like torn between whether I was going to make six figures, which I went and my first manager said, everybody always says they want to make six figures. Nobody ever says they want to make 250. This was back in like 2009.
Yeah, years in 09?
2009.
Jeez, man, you've been from.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
old, bro. So people, she said, nobody ever comes in and says they want to make $1 million or 500,000 or 50,000 or 75,000. They always say 100,000. I said 100,000. But then I also didn't know if I would just like try to flip some houses and use my license for that. So I was kind of torn between those two small kind of endeavors. But speaking of flipping houses, Coral, you got a couple projects going on right now, right?
I do.
Connecticut, right?
Connecticut.
What markets are you working in right now?
New London County as well.
New London County.
Yeah.
What's the average price point in New London County?
450.
450. I was thinking about it as being low, but it's really, I mean, Rhode Island, 500,000, roughly. I mean, we actually just had the first year where the first month in like some huge amount of months, like 39 months in a row, the median sale prices increased month over month. And last month it was only like 475 for the state of Rhode Island. But I think that that's more seasonal. Like I still think that a standard house here runs you 500, 550, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
But for 450, what do you get? You get a
450, you're getting a 3 bed, 4 bed, maybe a 2 to 3 bed, bathroom, geez.
Yeah.
Raised ranch. Colonials, depending where it is, they're more in the 5s.
More in the 5s.
It's more like a style house. Interesting fact, I looked at this earlier, like February 2025, February 2026, the price has gone up 0.6% from year to year.
Year over year. So
yeah, and we're down 23% in transactions in February 2026 from last year.
The market's crazy right now. Like we're calling people up and we're getting calls every single day with the 36 inches of snow melting.
The snow days, like they're good and they're bad. Right. Everyone's freaking calling you, but you don't want to do anything because you have them with the kids.
It was fun for like, I got some pictures. I took the kids outside. But the collateral damage of that was another thing.
What, your appointments that week?
Yeah, well, that, and I mean, I think with like the retail side that you can kind of pick it up. Like it creates such pent up demand that now we're just going to list more houses the next few weeks than we would have ordinarily listed a couple more in February.
Yeah.
But like think about the investor side. Like every project you have, like think about
it got put on hold.
Put on hold for a full week.
Had to push out the photos.
Whatever interest you're paying.
Everything in the yard was buried by snow.
Clear all.
Yeah, someone to plow.
Oh, I have to go back and clean it all up because all the snow's melted.
Let
me see it again.
Well, think about it. If you're holding like a property and say you got 3-4 projects going on, your average carrying cost, like $1,000 a week. You can't work on any of those properties, right? So every investor, builder, developer just got pushed back.
And the sellers, dude. It's like it was crazy. I got obviously because of the storm, no one came out that weekend.
Right.
It's been on for 2 weeks. Somehow the weather got a little nice. I got multiple offers the third week, no price change or anything.
Right.
But like it impacted sellers all the time.
I think sellers need to know that message right now, that if they hit the market, like obviously usually when you list a house, there's work you have to do. There's something you have to do to get the place ready. But anybody who hits the market like between now and like 10 or 12 days from now, 2 weeks from now, I think the timing is incredible because inventory has compressed so far. Like we're at 2.3 months inventory in Rhode Island right now. Same story. We had a listing that was sitting there 37 days on market, no offers. Now we have multiple people showing it and we put it in contract. So what that tells me is that if you're a home seller and you have the wherewithal to finish a project, get it done, get your house on the market, you can beat all the other competition to the market for springtime. I'm sure that's probably the same in CT as it is in Rhode Island.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, honestly, like right now, everyone's getting ready to list. Like
Yeah.
I think I have 6 listings coming up in the next 4 weeks, and we're all aiming for that April timeline, early May. And that's just me. And I think I have more too, but on top of my head. But they're at the same time, they're all waiting, Matt. Like they're all going to come out.
They're all going to come all at once. And then we're going to be like running around like nuts.
Well, I think the Iran war is going to have an impact. Like Kevin, like the rates went up today. Like they're pushing over 6 now, right? Like, did you see that splurge last week or two?
The rates are up. The market does not like that war. Not to pick a side politically or whatever on it, but like the stock market's down. The
rates are going.
Rates are up. That war is the big X factor. Like when people ask me like, what do they think? What do I think is going to happen in the market? I'm like, well, first of all, we have 2.3 months inventory. We've seen multiple bidding wars. A lot of the macroeconomic numbers were pretty good until that freaking war started.
And the rates were good. The rates were coming out.
The rates
now
were
what's
good.
going to happen? Yeah.
So that's the X factor is like, I think that overall, I mean, I don't know what you think. I'm curious about what you guys think, but I think the economy is overall pretty good still. But if we end up in World War III,
We need to start finding properties where we can create bunkers.
yeah, we should build some bunkers. Right?
Only with a basement.
Yeah. Homes with basements underneath the basement are going to go up in value. Yeah.
The top floor of the house.
It-
We
well,
only want to
the-
live in the basement.
Like P. Diddy's old house is going to sell for a record price because he's got rooms underneath his basement,
Yeah.
you know? But
Or even the rural, like where don't you live like up north? Like where do you live?
Griswold.
Oh, that's like woods, dude.
Griswold is the country.
Canterbury,
The sticks. Yeah.
the sticks. Like maybe those properties go up.
Yeah, that's right.
Now you can be self-sufficient in a way.
All right. So Rhode Island, Foster, Situate,
Yeah, Situate, yeah.
you know, those areas, parts of Burrillville. We were talking about Burrillville on the lobby on the way here. So what do you guys think is the biggest difference? Coral, you practice in both markets. Kris, you do a little bit of Rhode Island, but you're 95%
Yeah, it's like
Connecticut.
Connecticut. Yeah.
What do you guys think are the biggest differences between the two real estate markets? I have a couple insights, but I'm curious what you guys think.
Cool.
Well, I just think you get more for your money in Connecticut. I feel like you're in less competition as if you were in Rhode Island market. I mean, that's kind of rude, but
Yeah, so like when I saw Rhode Island, I'm really never going past Westerly, and Westerly is a market that's always on demand. I mean, Taylor Swift lives there, right?
Right.
That's like the biggest sale factor. I'm just kidding.
Good price point too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have shown homes in Westerly, and I've written offers in Westerly in the last couple weeks. There's just not a lot of inventory there. So when something pops up, everyone's swarming to it. I have buyers that are looking in Connecticut, Navy, Electric Boat, like the big employers in Southeast Connecticut, that are looking in Westerly because Rhode Island has lower taxes than Connecticut,
Right.
but that price point's higher. They kind of offset, but there's just nothing unless something does come up. You're right. Because of the inventory shortage. It's like very hard to secure a home. Yeah.
yeah. Also, I mean, going up 395 now, they have all those warehouses going in.
Yeah.
Reline, Costco.
Yeah, Sheena Ruggiero, you know,
Yeah.
she does those videos.
Yeah.
Like I saw, yeah, she posts that.
So that's gonna put some pressure on the housing market in that area.
Yeah, my buyers,
For
my buyers, like a lot of them are 400 and they want value. Like you got to go up 395 to Jewett City, Griswold, Lisbon, Plainfield to get that value. Canterbury too. But the differences between the two, there's more inventory in Southeast Connecticut. It's depending where we are in Connecticut, it's cheaper. Like you're paying the same amount of money in Western as you're paying in Mystic, more in Mystic probably.
Right. Mystics.
East Lyme's high too. Parts of Ledger are high too. So price point, I would say those are like they're all similar. Like I guess the closer you are to the water, obviously the more expensive it's going to be.
Ledyard's a high price point area.
No, it's like medium.
Medium. Okay.
Yeah, it's where what's a good analogy? Like if you're an officer in the Navy, like you can afford to live in a good part or whatever, expensive part of Ledger.
Right.
If you're like a an E1 to E4, that's like a beginning Navy guy or a military person.
Right.
They are looking at 350, and it's harder to find a house like that in Ledger, Groton, East Lyme, Waterford. They're looking like in more north. Norwich is probably the closest they'll be to the center.
Norwich is a military base in Norwich.
New London.
New London. Okay.
Yeah. So the closer you are to the base, the closer you are to the Coast Guard Academy, the closer you are to Electric Boat, and the closer you are to Mystic, Westerly, everything, all the beaches along 95, the more expensive it's going to be.
All right. That makes sense. I mean, that's pretty good synergy with the way Rhode Island market runs. So like that Westerly is like a magnet for the money almost. You could look at it like that.
And beaches, like they're big for beaches. Yeah.
Right. I love the beaches in Westerly. I think Westerly's best beaches in Rhode Island for me, for my vibe, right? Like just because I like to go to a place where it's kind of laid back. Like I also don't like Route 4 South in Rhode Island. I mean, not to pick on Narragansett.
One that goes all the way through.
Yeah, it's just like there's no way to get it's like if you go you're just gonna sit in traffic, you know. So at least going to Westerly, I can just take 95. It's a straight shot, you know. My observation about the Connecticut market versus Rhode Island is number one, the right over the border, the price savings. We're always talking about this, and all of our agents that are dual licensed, we're always pitching that part of Connecticut because it's like, okay, you want to pay $400,000, you want a 4-bedroom, you want a 2-car garage, you want some land, you don't want to buy a fixer upper, you want to buy a house that's, maybe average or above average. We don't really have a market for that right now. You know what I mean? Like all of our houses under 400, in almost every area. Now, it's maybe when you get into like Central Falls and stuff like that, but I'm thinking about people who want to be in like the suburbs or whatever, right? You know, maybe in Socket, Central Falls, you can get some lower price point entries, but those are for people that want to be in kind of an urban area. If you want to be in a suburban area and you want those things I just listed, like we're sending people over the border to talk to Coral or talk to Rachel or one of our agents, they're dual licensed. I have noticed, I feel like Connecticut's a lot stricter with their compliance laws.
You guys are not as organized. I guess organization's the part.
So there's a true Connecticut realtor fan. So like defending his state.
That's so right too. I just yeah.
Like the process for writing offers, for compliance, for everything. It seems like it's a little bit more elevated in Connecticut, and so I always encourage agents when they're looking at that dual licensing that they gotta learn how things are done in Connecticut. And even some of my people, if they're in Connecticut, I'm advising them on a deal. I'm like, look, this is what I think basically about the major mechanics of the deal or the transaction, but like you're gonna have to run this by our Connecticut people. So
I would say Connecticut is easier to do from
I
a
feel
paperwork
like that
standpoint.
too.
Where
Really?
like your listing agreements in Rhode Island are like you have disclosures on your listing agreement, right?
Yeah,
I can remember.
I agree. I think Connecticut is actually easier.
I guess we're just used to what we're used to, you know?
Do you guys have one unified contract for Rhode Island? Like, because in Connecticut, we have boards everywhere. So, like, every county has their own contract.
We pretty much are uniform.
That's good. That's
I,
nice.
I do feel like we have way too much bureaucracy. I mean, and like I think this is probably similar for both states from the political climate or just the social climate of like way too many fire marshals, way too many boards, way too many different entities. Like I feel like, you know, you mentioned Tim Macy a lot. Tim was in Connecticut and now they went to Texas and they came back to Connecticut. I mean, there's towns in Texas that are the size of Rhode Island and towns that are probably almost the size of Connecticut, you know, and they'll have like one superintendent and they'll have like one board and they'll have like one whatever. And now we're in Rhode Island where there's little over 1 million people and it's the size of many very large cities. And we have to have 6 boards or 5 boards or whatever we have and 39 superintendents. And so I always feel like that weight, I mean, I've mentioned that on this podcast a number of times. So if people are actually watching it repeatedly, I don't mean to be like a broken record. So Kris, I always really appreciate the ability to synergize with you. And I think that Real kind of Real obviously brought you and I together.
Yeah, right.
Coral and I were together at the previous company. But I think that let's talk a little bit about Real and some of the stuff you were telling me in the lobby, just about some of the innovation technology that Real has coming out right now.
Yeah, so this is not verbatim, but this is my understanding of what we're doing. So we're introducing this thing called Hey Leo. And essentially, this is like the first thing. It's connected to your entire database on reZen. reZen is our website and our back office that has our transactions and all that stuff, right? So what I'm going to start doing is I just ordered signs. I'm going to start slapping on QR codes on my listings. And this specific QR code for each listing is going to direct the consumer who scans that QR code for that listing to reZen, and they're going to talk to our AI guy named Leo. And Leo is going to have a legit conversation to answer any question for this consumer about the property, any questions, and it's going to create a profile for that consumer that we can look at as it's in real time, as it's like happening.
Right.
We can chime in at any time. Fun fact about that is every time that someone scans it, and Kevin, One Real Mortgage, told me that they have to be on it for a minute for conversating. But what we were told was they got to scan it and you get paid like 25, 50 cents, whatever per scan. So it's a little, you're not going to make millions of it, but that's cool because, you know, you're capturing data.
And they're paying us for it. Like
yep,
Real's all about figuring out different ways to pay agents for doing things besides just the closing a real estate transaction.
Right?
Yeah,
which is awesomely rev share too. That's another thing. But so Hey Leo is essentially your personal assistant that is connected to your client, the consumer, and you on your app that you can talk to, whatever. But because it's on top of reZen, which is our database, it has Leo can answer any question regarding the transaction for that consumer at any time. So you don't have to respond to the text. You'll have, remember during Rise, you're gonna have a text conversation with the client and yourself and Leo in this thing, so you can chime in at any time.
The demo was super cool.
Dude, yeah,
Like,
I'm not doing it justice
Yeah.
on this podcast, but what else? And then another thing on top of that is obviously we have One Real Mortgage now that's going to be coming to Rhode Island. We have in Connecticut, where all the documents of the consumer on the lending side are going to be built into a Rezen 2. So when your client now has any questions regarding financing or the real estate transaction, they can just simply ask Leo, hey, when's my appraisal? Hey, and how far am I from mortgage commitment? Whatever. It's all in one spot for you as the agent to look at as a snapshot.
I think that some of the misconceptions that people don't understand fully about Real, number one, they don't understand how good our technology is and how committed we are to advancing the technology. I say we, like I'm part of the tech team, but like I'm one of the recipients of it or the beneficiaries. And the second thing I think that people don't realize is that we have significant, because Real empowers individual agents who are intentional about productivity and building teams and stuff like that. So we don't have a franchise model, but we do have brick and mortar. You know what I mean? And so like,
Which I think is crucial.
I know for us, it's been critical to have this training center here in Cranston. And then my little office in Warwick that we operate out of. So we got 2 brick and mortar locations. And for Jeff Infante and I, putting that infrastructure in place was not like inexpensive, but it is enabling us to scale and grow and build our companies up, you know? Right. And I know you have the
We have the
office
same
in
thing
London.
too in London. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's a great place to get everyone to collaborate. You know, we meet every Thursday morning. We're talking, we're building each other, we're talking about systems, things that we can do. But it's also crucial to have a space to meet clients,
Right.
sellers, buyers, you know, meet other agents, you know, to talk about stuff.
I feel like anyone also in Real, nobody's in competition with each other. We're all building each other up to continue building within ourselves and the business itself.
Work hard, be kind. We is bigger than me. I tell people all the time when I go through that presentation that it's not just words. Those are the missions that the company lives by. And that's why I think that's why Real has really
Exploded.
Yeah. I really do. I think that a lot of times people hear about revenue share, which is an incredible growth engine. And when people ask if revenue share can work or if you can really grow a real estate company like that, I'm like, well, Keller Williams grew the biggest real estate company in the world at one point. That was a profit share company. There was Exit Realty, which was a profit share company. Profit share.
Exit Realty.
Right, I know. It's like isn't it, you want to be like Enter Realty? Yeah, right. like yeah. But
He exited.
Yeah, exit. Yeah, I don't know. They exited the scene, but you know, EXP obviously is one of our competitors, and I'm a fan of EXP.
I liked it when I was there, but Real's a whole nother level.
It's a whole nother level, and I feel like those two companies, they do push each other. One makes the other one better, you know, like having good competition. But I mean, revenue share is an amazing thing, but I think sometimes people just get caught up in that and they don't realize how much innovation takes place under our umbrella, you know? So I always wanted to conclude with that. If people made it to the end of the interview, they had to hear our explanation about why, if you're not a Real agent, you should reach out to one of us. We can co-sponsor you even. Yeah, so we can all share the
Think about it.
We can all share the wealth and share the bread. We can help you out in Rhode Island. We can help you out in Connecticut. We can help you out nationally and all throughout Canada. I got a mission. You know my mission. I'm going to bring it to the Caribbean.
Yeah, I know, dude. I want to go to your spot down there.
Dude, we got to do it. It's tonight we're going to a spot in Providence, but tomorrow night, but next time we'll be in Puerto Rico, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you're someone looking to expand your business, expand your company, you can reach out to Kris Tramont, the X Team, the founder of the X Team, one of the most productive agents in all of the New England metro. You can reach out to my dear friend Coral, who I work with every day. And it's just as good to call Coral as call me, because then you're going to get both of us anyway. Or you can reach out to me directly. I wanted to thank everybody for tuning in to our Real Vision podcast studios today. Watching this podcast, I wanted to thank Kris for making the trip up here. I know it's a long hike from New London.
45 minutes.
45 minutes, you know.
45.
Whole 45. So we're going to go grab dinner afterwards. And again, if you're watching this podcast, you're a realtor, you should really consider what your company does for you, besides just pay you whatever your split is. All right. Peace, everybody.
Thanks, guys.